This show is brought to you by Nice Mug. Nice Mug is the only mug made entirely out of ice. For more information, go to nicemug.com and enter the coupon code SAUNA for 10% off your entire purchase. Well, hey everybody, this is Glenn, and we have a special episode of Sauna Talk, and I want to introduce you to a real close friend of mine, Steve. I got to know Steve about 20 years ago, and Steve has embraced the authentic sauna experience at my cabin island sauna up north through multiple boys' weekends, at least 20 of them, some of them in winter, but most often in the fall when we close up, and in the spring when we open up. Steve's always been a great help and supporter of that process of, cabin ownership, which can be a pain in the neck, but with a guy like Steve, it's a lot of fun. But this episode is significant for me because I want to share with you guys Steve's backyard sauna build project. I get many inquiries on Sauna Times about people wanting to build their own saunas, and what I wanted to do for some time is to really document the nuts and bolts of building your own sauna in the backyard, independent of, in addition to, my ebook, Sauna Build from Start to Finish. This is significant because you will be learning firsthand what it takes for an amateur builder to undertake the construction of their own authentic backyard sauna. So you'll hear all about that. Steve, since completion at Thanksgiving, that's been about 100 days ago. I did a little bit of math. They have been out there, Steve and his wife Amy, and his kids when they're in town, 95 out of the last 100 days. They have taken saunas. You will learn about the shed build concept, where it's easy to build a sauna from ground up, but the process of constructing a shed is sometimes beyond our scope. It takes some extra tools, some extra hands. You got to be up on a roof. So the concept of hiring a shed company to shell a backyard shed is discussed in this episode. It's a great way to jumpstart your sauna build. We will talk about how much a sauna costs, and you will. The spoiler alert is I'm going to give you the total here of exactly how much Steve's sauna build cost. And that includes hiring the shed company in a total of $7,400. Additionally, you will get some information about Steve's method of sauna building, which is not as nuanced as others that I've encountered. Steve's focus was to get the sauna completed. His line is that you can always have bigger trim. So he was not so concerned about measurements to the 16th or 8th of an inch. And I commend him for that. You will learn some tips that he and I have collaborated on. Example, cedar fencing. It's a wonderful, inexpensive way to panel. Not recommended so much for the hot room, but his changing room looks awesome. I use cedar fence paneling all the time to make my own trim, and Steve's taken that to a little deeper level. Additionally, you'll also hear from his wife, Amy, who came in after work, and I really wanted to capture Amy's experience of sauna, because she did not grow up with sauna. She's experienced sauna at the health club, and what a formative change it has been to her wellness, her well-being, having their own backyard sauna and their routine. So welcome, Steve extraordinaire, to Sauna Talk.
All the difference in the world. I can't having a sauna without an ash pen.
Well, you'd be fucking around with it all the time. That's for sure. And, my deal is, well, how long have I known you, Steve?
Going on 15, 18 years.
18 years? So, I'm as frugal as a bachelor farmer and a lot of things. But when it comes to a sauna stove, you buy all this shit once. And then you use it every time.
It would be hard to go back up and buy the stuff once you're settled in your sauna's in place.
And change things?
Yeah. Spend the $400, spend the $500, and get it all now.
Yeah. Yeah. And then every time you use it, it's like a good car that doesn't depreciate that much. You don't have to change the brakes or the oil, or you just keep using it.
So the frequency that I use the ash pan with sauna, taking a sauna most days, maybe taking a day off every 2 weeks, I am emptying the sauna pan, the ash pan, every third day.
Interesting. So every third sauna?
Every third, every
Now,
fourth sauna.
are you pulling the coals forward?
Yes. Absolutely.
Interesting. Well, you must be plowing through wood.
I am.
Yeah.
I'm keeping Jay's Firewood company very happy. They're a great company. They come deliver it right to the back of the sauna.
It's good product.
Yes, absolutely great product. The tool that is given to you when you buy the Kuma stove for cleaning the ashes into the ash pan from the stove is a two-piece tool. One to pull the ashes.
A two-prong tool.
Yeah, two-prong tool. It's one side of it pulls the ashes forward. The other side is a slice, so you can get the ashes through the slices in the bottom of the stove.
Yeah.
It's a great marvel of engineering.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
And how do you feel about that?
Well, it's so homespun. I love it. It's a piece of art in its own way. The way it's just DIY welded, all these little components, bent and welded, and little squares. However, I'm not a fan of the vertical one. The pull it forward piece, the component, 100% all in. And I got on Daryl about it. I said, Daryl, you don't need that extra little flap. And he got mad at me.
He has every right to get mad at you.
What's so great about the flapper side?
Because you can clean from the sides and from the front, and then you clean out your slats that allows more airflow to come.
Yeah. I know. The slats in the front or along the sides?
The slats in the front down to the ash pan.
Yeah, I get it. I've not had a problem. I encourage people to saw off the flap.
Oh,
because the problem with the flap thing is it gets hung up in the doorway, and you can burn your hand really easily. So for me, I like the sleekness of the pull it forward.
Why are you doing it when it's hot?
That's the trick. Trust me on this one. Before you add a stick of firewood, pull your coals forward and tone it down.
When it's cold. Right
No, do it before you add a log. Because what you're trying to build there is a base of coals. And then you can tone it down and you can burn with much less oxygen.
So you're saying pull it forward before you start the fire?
Nope.
Or when you burn it down and before you put on the next log, pull it forward?
Yeah. Anytime you have a fire that's mature and burning and it's hungry for wood, before you add a stick of wood, pull the coals forward.
Well, I pull the coals forward with that stick there.
You can, and I know it's janky.
And then
you do that up north.
Janky, when you clean out your stove while it's cool, and then that's when you use that tool.
If you follow my way, you never need to clean the ash. Because before you add your final stick of wood, first of all, you need less wood when you pull the coals forward.
Sure.
Okay. So before you throw your last stick of firewood on, you're pulling those coals forward, and then you burn that. And then, say it's round 3, and you look in the firebox and you say, do I need another stick of wood? Well, invariably, if you just pull the existing coals forward, that replaces the need for the final stick of wood, and then all that burns off. So when you come out the next day, there's no ash to pull down. Very little ash to pull down into the ash pan. It's all burned off. So
Well,
try it, man. Try it.
I've gone over to your sauna when you've been on vacation and looked inside your stove, and to use your term, janky. Your stove is janky.
My stove is janky. Well, you know how many saunas I've taken with that stove? I mean, I wish we brought a calculator in here because I do have some questions for you. We're gonna get to the meat of the matter. Reason why I'm glad to have you on Sauna Talk is many. You know, there's many reasons, but like first of all, math. So I built my sauna in 2003, which is my backyard sauna. So it gets used only 70% of the year, but it's 3 times a week times 16 years. That's a lot of saunas.
Mm-hmm.
3 times a week, 30 weeks a year. So that's 30 times 3 is 90 saunas.
Yeah.
And how long is that? I don't know. It's a
You've
lot of
taken
saunas.
a lot of saunas.
Yeah, in that sauna stove. So what's so janky?
And right now, for our first 2 months of being in this sauna, Amy and I are on pace to do about 330 saunas a year.
Wow. Yeah.
If we continue at this pace.
Do you anticipate this pace maintaining itself?
You know, I'm looking forward to going through a full season of the first year of a sauna.
Yeah.
You learn so much. You learn about changes as far as changing hooks around, changing benches around.
Yeah.
It's nice to not be finished right away.
Yeah.
I've been able to sit in here for a couple months and wait till springtime comes and I can do some finishing trim and finishing shelving work. And it's kind of nice to live with it for a while to see how you use it and how your spouse uses it.
And the next phase that you can start bringing your attention to, hopefully in a month now, is the outside. You've done 0 landscaping. This thing got plopped in here on Halloween Day.
Yep.
I remember. I swung by. And then let's take the chronologies for those listening on Sauna Talk. So we're sitting here with Steve. Now, I just want to back it all up and let's talk about your history with sauna. Did you sauna before you got to know me?
No. And I'd like to just say now I'm happy to be here with Glenn at Sauna Times.
Yeah. We've been wanting to do this Sauna Talk for a while. I've been wanting to get pictures of the sauna for a while. I don't know what it is about Steve. I think you were on a witness relocation program in your previous life because you did not want to.
I can't talk about that.
Yeah, it's a lot of work to get you on Sauna Talk, and I appreciate having you here because really what I want to extract out of you is a couple of things here about your history with sauna, how long you've been into sauna and all that, and then bring it all up to October 31st when your shed was built.
Well, truly, you are the one, Glenn at Sauna Times, that introduced me to saunas. And it was from your Aldrich one when we first met.
And that was right around the year 2000.
Yep.
1999, probably.
And then you moved into the new house and we built the sauna in the garage.
And you helped me with that. That was 2003. We did some floor work together. You're very generous.
And in that time, we've done the cabin every year, once or twice a year.
And when did the cabin visit start for you? That had to be late 1990s, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So you've been going up to the cabin for 30 years.
Jeez.
09?
No, 20 years.
20 years. See, time flies when you're having
like
fun.
30 years.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? So you've been up to the cabin twice a year for 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
You've maybe missed once or twice, but that's 40 trips. Well, then we would go up other times. So you've been up there at least 40 times. And is that where you really got immersed into the authentic sauna experience, or would you say it was more the backyard? Or what really brought it forward for you?
Really, it was the cabin. It's the cabin feel of getting up onto an island, staring out at a lake, jumping in the lake. The one year we cut holes in the ice and jumped in the lake. The period between the cabin visits and going to the sauna on Aldrich was great fill for the big bangs.
Yeah. Well
and,
said.
and
Well said.
you know, and then building just made me even hungrier. And I can even tell you times that I come home and talk to Amy and just say, you know, you really got to do this. And it was, well, it's just kept putting it off and putting it off and putting it off. And then we built the one on Superior.
Yeah.
Which was just beautiful, watching the waves that are 15 yards away from the deck of this sauna to the one that you had transported up to central Wisconsin. Mm-hmm. And that sauna that he had overlooking a small river valley.
Yeah, right on.
That he was able to walk down to the river. And
Yeah,
he had the outside hot and cold water.
And he had a slab already laid so that when we delivered the sauna, he was ready to go.
Yeah, that was a fabulous sauna. Yeah, I would love to go back up there and spend a weekend. And
he's invited us up. They've invited us up there. That was a sauna that, just to rewind the clock for those listening, what Steve's talking about is the sauna that I built for a couple in central northern Wisconsin. It was an 8x12. It was a tough shed. I used a garden center, just a quick little bike ride from my house. It has since been closed on Common Gardens, and that's where I would have Tough Shed assemble for me the 8x12 shed, and then I would finish the inside and the outside and put the windows in and all of that jazz. I basically used Tough Shed just to kickstart the project. I mean, and it's nice to have their foundation, that aluminum stuff, right, Steve?
It was really this cell. Over the summer, we were preparing ourselves to build the sauna, and I was going to build the framing. My wife knows me very well, and one Sunday morning she called me and said, I've been looking at Tough Sheds. We could get a Tough Shed here for $2,800.
$2,800.
8x12 reverse gable. And I looked at
and openings for door and windows.
Yep, at your choice where you wanted to put them, and then it came on a 6-inch aluminum frame.
Yeah.
Metal frame, and it just made all the sense because they gave you 4 inches of leeway on your grade, so you could be 4 inches off, and they still would just put in some patio blocks, and
they would level it from there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And did you prep the area with Class 5?
Class 5, and at that time was when I put in the drain, which was a rather simple dig. Dig down 4 feet, use a PVC pipe with
and you
holes
had
in it.
a post hole digger on
Yep.
it that you just dug it down. How long did it take you to dig that hole?
20 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah.
You had the right tool.
Yeah, right tool. 20 minutes. I'm in sand here. So.
And then you backfilled it with
gravel.
With your 2-inch PVC
Yep.
going down 4 feet.
Yep.
French drain to the max.
Yeah. And I've had no problems with it so far.
And we've had a long, cold, dark, wet winter. And Amy loves tossing water over herself in the hot room, doesn't she?
Yeah.
How much would you say
that
on
was a
it?
concern.
I know.
And it hasn't been.
Well, that's great to hear because, to be blunt with you, I did in my cabin or my backyard sauna. I did a modified French drain where it goes down at elbows and then it tees, and all of that is well above 4 feet, and that was kind of a mistake. I mean, if you're going to do it, in hindsight, I should have done it the A job and gone down 4 feet because you're getting complete drain below the frost line.
I would think so. Maybe not this year with the weather the way it's been, but most years.
Okay.
You're not going.
So I'm holding in my hand a 32-ounce deli cup, which is a great story in and of itself. We love having these in part of a sauna. They're just simple deli cups, like put in your, grocery store deli department. Your 32 ounces, your large serving of potato salad. That's what you'll get these in, and that was the foundation for Nice Mud, which is a whole nother story. But you have a bunch of these around too. They're wonderful for dipping in the 5-gallon bucket and dumping water over your head, right?
So you had 2 whole nother stories just in that last sentence.
Yeah, isn't it awful? Welcome to Sauna Talk. Hey, I'm trying to keep you guys alive here. I am. We're going to talk about the build, but we're going to talk about how much water goes down the drain. Now, Amy uses about how many of these 32 ounces?
6 for 3 rounds.
Okay, so that's a fair volume of water.
I've watched.
Yeah, I know. And Julia loves tossing water all over in the hot room. And, every sauna, one should be not restricted by copious amounts of water. It makes for a great sauna. I mean, if you wanna bathe in the hot room, you should be able to do that. If you want to dump water over your head,
different.
well, it's nice to have a sauna that if you want to dump water in the hot room, the sauna owner isn't worked up about it.
Yeah. Yep.
And this 4-foot drain is an example of you having. Okay, so let's do some math. So you finished the first sauna was taken on what day? December.
It was just before Thanksgiving because the kids were coming home, and I told them I promised I would have the sauna up and running.
Okay, so that's 3 months and 2 weeks ago. So let's just say that's 4 times 3 is 12. So 14 months. It's been 14 weeks since you've had your sauna. And how many nights in a typical week have you not taken a sauna?
1.
Okay, so 6 saunas a week.
Yeah.
Times 14 weeks.
Yeah.
That's a lot of sauna, and that's a lot of water under the rock in there. Yeah. So back to the chronology with Tough Shed. They came on October 31st. Thanks to Amy and her suggestion. Let's just buy this thing and get it delivered, right?
Yep. 90-degree angles, all set to go. No goofiness from my craftsmanship, and it was just a perfect start to get moving on.
14 on center studs.
They came in and they actually put down the chimney hood for me.
That's
and then roughed around it,
Yeah.
which is an incredible thing.
That was a nice little bonus because you were ready. You did the plumb bob. You knew where you wanted your chimney exactly, or within a little bit of play. You did not even have your common wall defined, but we basically knew because of a reverse gable that we wanted to offset this chimney to the hot room side pretty close to the ridge.
Yep, as close as we could.
As close to the ridge as you can, and it just turned out perfect, didn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you couldn't define it any better. The clearance from the common wall, which is what's really defined, and then you did a great job defining the boot or the chimney relative to the back wall. Mm-hmm. So you nailed it right on, and the plumb bob was key for that, wasn't it?
Well, I had good advice that day.
That's funny. Well, when you do a lot of these, you understand the importance of like a template for your stove, which you had, on a good direction from the book, I believe, that you read from start to finish.
Well, we can comment on the book later.
Okay. And there you go. So you have the template of your stove, you have a plumb bob, you run a little screw up through the ceiling or the rafters, and there and hopefully you're not hitting the rafter, which you won't because you're coming right off the ridge. And there you go. Boom. Run that screw through, and then you're going to cut out for your chimney. And I love building a sauna that way. Get the stove in. Work around it. Not a bad way to go.
It's really motivation.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So we just did a cool down outside. It's single digits. It's no more than 2-3 degrees. And we take one of these 32-ounce water deli cups, fill it with water, and that 32 ounces is a nice amount to throw over your whole body, isn't it?
It is. It is. And then to just sit outside and let the steam roll off your body.
Yeah.
Or come inside into the changing room and fill the changing room with your steam.
Yes.
It was magical.
It is. Well, okay, let's describe
A great warrior once said and called that changing room environment Hawaii-like.
Yeah. Mountains.
Mountain humidity.
Mountain humidity, yeah.
Cool.
And it's such a wonderful climate to have in Minnesota, specifically in winter, because we're dealing with, like today is a classic Minneapolis winter's day. Single digits, bone dry, sunny. And that's beautiful weather, but weeks upon weeks of that, as you know, and I want to talk about skin and all that in a second. It's not great. It's not great for your lungs. It's not great for your skin and your psyche. You're like, I want steam. I want steam. In this moment we have right here, the way you define that, it's, what would you say the temp is in here right now, Steve?
I would think it's about 70 degrees in here with steam.
See, I would say it's about 45 degrees in here.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Because it was effing cold when I came in for round one, and we haven't done anything. So let's call it
Let's say I'm right.
Let's just say I'm right.
It's too warm. It was 70.
And we're going to hit upon that arrogance. That sauna
I thought you were going to set the 70 degrees.
No, we're going to hit upon that arrogance.
Yeah. All right. It's in the 40s or 50s.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll give you that.
And I can barely see you, like through the steam, and you're only a couple feet away. It's that intense, cool steam, like a mountain hike, Oregon, Olympic Peninsula, Hawaii, where you're just immersed in the clouds.
Yeah.
And that contrasted with a cold, dry winter's day is just magical.
And you put a dim light in here at night, the effect is...
Yeah, or a candle in the candle window.
A candle in the candle window.
Yeah, man. That's all you need, you know? Right?
Yes.
Yeah. So we were talking about a nuance outside. What was that? I said, hey, we got to get that on tape. It was about the build process and when you put in the stove.
Yes.
Go ahead on that.
You know, we had the chimney hood put in when they roofed it, and then I covered that. And I got the tongue and glue cedar and the Duro rock in without the door in, and burned the stove off outside. So you light a fire in the stove without the chimney on it.
Or the fire bricks, even.
With I put the fire bricks in
okay,
there.
good. Burn those guys too.
And I just burned that for a half a day. And as I was working in here, just kept it going with scraps and things like that. And you could really tell a difference of the smell of it burning off.
Yeah.
And then I brought it in. And
with a two-wheeler, right?
Oh, yeah.
And how many people?
Just myself and Glenn at Sauna Times.
Well, so there you go. Okay, so 2 bodies and a two-wheeler, and you need all of that, don't you? We put a plywood piece down over the threshold, got it into place, walked it into place, and what a moment that was. I mean, there's many great moments in the sauna build process, but can you top it once the stove is placed and the chimney pipe set?
And then you set that fire. It is spectacular. It is spectacular. Very motivational, too.
Yeah.
I mean, and also, in a way, progress did slow down a little bit after that.
Right, because you could then take a sauna. I remember you were sending me a picture. You made Nolan put a blanket up where the door was going to go.
Yeah, it was a piece of plywood.
Okay.
Yeah,
did
which
it work?
actually was the inside of the door. No.
Oh, so you ended up cutting the plywood for the door and saying, I'm not going to bother making a door yet, and just jamming it in the spot.
Yeah.
Did you put little trim so it would catch on it, like?
Yeah, actually out of the pink foam insulation. It was ragamuffin to quote a wonderful person, but it worked. It got us in there. Thanksgiving, kids were home.
Yeah,
we had the plywood door up
and a makeshift bench,
and we had the thermostat. We had it at 180.
Yeah,
we were great.
Yeah. And to your point earlier is, the sauna build in phases allows the sauna bather, the sauna owner, to really feel the space and take over on the nuances. Hook placement, simple thing like that. It goes on and on. I mean, you can start to nuance and create your own sauna, and then every little improvement is appreciated that much more.
We actually had chairs in there. We didn't even have benches, and we were taking saunas. Yeah.
And not missing a beat.
Yeah.
180 is 180.
And there's no right way to go about it. It's your way. When you get into your space and you're creating your space, it's going to be your way. You have to live with it. You have to build it. And you have to find the things that makes you the most happy. And it is about hook placements. It is about when the benches are finally going to get in. And when you get the benches finally in, it's just like, oh, this is so great. Another milestone.
Yeah, man. Let me riff on that one. Is where I thought you were going with every sauna is their own in terms of the build. I'd like to introduce into that where the level of finickiness or particularity for different people. Some people are really type A, and all the tongue and groove has to line up. Everything has got to be like super aligned, square, the trim, offset. It goes on. The perfection you can have with the building process. But one of the things, and I got to compliment you, I just love how everything here is in play. And how did in play the term come about?
Well, we had Glenn at Sauna Times over, And
for a site inspection.
For a site inspection, and once again, we can talk about the arrogance that comes through in certain site inspections. And he was nitpicking about something, and I just said, well, it's all in play, Glenn, and it'll all get done eventually, and you just make a wider trim piece.
Yeah,
and that's the simplicity of it is as you're through this process, you're going to have tough cuts. You can always make a wider trim piece. No one's going to notice it in the steam of the sauna. It all doesn't matter. I see all my mistakes. Most people that come in here don't see my mistakes at all. Glenn at Sauna Times comes in and points them out.
The list is long. But that's what I love about it. Look at that. That's what I love about it, Steve. Is your laugh is without any guilt or ego or whatever. You've accepted your standard for building, and you went with it. And you don't have to make an excuse for anybody.
As do the type A people that take a little bit longer and make sure everything is perfect. That is how they can sit in this space and be comfortable.
Not you, not Amy, not your son Nolan or daughter Greta.
Correct.
They're very happy with things in play.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's really comforting when you realize when you're in a project like this, this is the style it's going to be.
Yeah.
I was able to give up on some things as far as perfection goes because I got this thing done.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
I got this thing done in a hurry.
Yes.
And that's what was important to me.
Yeah. I love that. That is the essence of it. Some, because of the perfection and all that, the build will take longer. But this shed was delivered on October 31st, and 3 weeks later, you were taking a sauna.
Yeah. Thanksgiving. Yeah.
That's remarkable. You were like a man on a mission.
Yeah.
And the heat, you could lead the most type A anal retentive builder in the world into this space, into this sauna blindfolded, set them on the sauna bench, and they will have as most excellent of a sauna experience as the most meticulously built sauna in North America.
Absolutely.
Because you did the important things right. You did the foil bubble wrap everywhere, and you taped every seam
in the hot room.
Yeah, and because you recognize the importance of that, long term. You sure?
Yeah. Yeah, I think I did that. Well, but I mean, this is really the big plug for Tough Sheds. That all made it so simple. They came out and they put this shit up in 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
And then everything.
So the shed came in panels. Yeah. I was here, and there were 2 guys, 3 guys or 2 guys.
2 guys.
Yeah, 2 guys, and they back this flatbed up. They unload the panels. The first thing they do is assemble the aluminum frame.
Yeah.
And that's a little herky jerk because you're not seeing much progress. But once they lay down and nail down that subfloor, then they bring the panels in and on it goes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
And everything is a nice 90-degree angle.
Everything's plumb and square.
Yeah. I remember Halloween night sitting in here and just thinking, this is going to happen.
Yeah.
The shed is here.
Yeah. Hey, those that want to build their own shed, God love you. I mean, I'm not saying don't, because building a shed is pretty damn easy. What isn't easy in terms of shed building is it's not a one-man show.
Yes.
I mean, you're dealing with 4x8 sheets. You're getting up on a ladder. You're getting up on, and you're sheathing a roof. I mean, it's not a big deal being an 8x12, but it is a big deal because you got to have the right ladders, equipment. It's the big leagues.
Yeah, and when you're talking about $2,800, it's a lot of money. But that feeling that when you come home and it's built.
Yeah. Yeah.
And with Glenn at Sauna Times' advice, I did the reverse gable, which made it longer for the changing room and the hot room, and it happened to match the gables on my house.
Oh, that's good. Do you mean the pitch or
the pitch and the pitch.
So you guys, I think you guys know reverse gable. What it is like a typical shed. Let's say an 8x12. The roof line runs along the 12-foot side in a typical setup,
And the reason for that is it's a lot easier to roof when you have a standard conventional roof pitch. But if you think about it, if you flip that gable around, in other words, your ridge is on the 8-foot side, so you have longer slope. But what's really significant about that is when you put the door from the changing room to the outside on that gable end, you have a bit of an overhang here, and you don't have water coming down on you sloping off of your roof. But the other advantage, as you point out, is inside, right, Steve?
Yes. Yep. That's where you get a wider changing room and a wider hot room. As far as the I want to say north and south, but that doesn't matter here.
Yeah.
My hot room is 6x8. So
yeah. Now let's talk about that. So the common wall in an 8x12, we nailed it. We put it to the inch on center, didn't we?
Mm-hmm.
Now, and I asked you this, Steve, and I would like you to answer here. So I'm standing in a changing room that is 50% the size of an 8x12 shed. Hot room is the same gig. If you had to move it, which way would you move it?
It's really hard to say. It's because it's right now. I think it's just perfect. You have a kind of a 6-inch larger hot room, changing room. Excuse me. And it's just perfect.
Ah.
I mean, we're standing in the changing room right now,
right?
And there's plenty of space.
You could get a third or a fourth body in here. This great bench along the 6-foot wall here. A great window, another window. You got cross light happening. It makes it feel big. But if you had to pick a direction, just for sport here, you have to move this wall, common wall, a little more changing room or a little more hot room, and why?
I would have to make it a little more changing room because of the bench that runs along, not the 8-foot wall, but
the 6-foot.
The width of the bench, yes.
Yeah.
You'd have room to play there because of the short bench inside the sauna. So you could push that and make this room a little bit larger.
I would too. I would say if, and that's a huge if. I mean, we're both in agreement that running that common wall in the center of an 8x12 is the best.
Yep.
But that said, just for sake of stupidity, stupid conversation, which I hope you guys are understanding, we're really trying to get into the weeds. I mean, this is important shit for like serious sauna builders.
Yes.
Like if you really want to know the optimum cubic foot of a freestanding backyard authentic sauna, we are drilling into it right now. Because left to right, you're at 7'4" inside dimension, which is awesome to run your bench along that 7'4" because you can lay down, you can get 3 people on there without knocking elbows. It's a great size on that 7'4" wall, upper bench, lower bench. But I'm telling you, Steve's got it right in my book. If I were to do anything, I would size the hot room an inch. I mean, I'm talking like an inch or maybe 2, and just make this changing area those 1 or 2 inches bigger. That's how nuanced this 8x12 concept has become. Mm-hmm. And this is the life I live. I've built about 10 of these, and I always mess around with that. The owner of the sauna doesn't know, but I've messed around with it. And I said, look, I wanted to keep my life simple, so when I was building a lot of, building these frequently, I would always put the common wall, just like you did, right in the middle. And it's arguably the best, because then you don't even have this dumb conversation.
Yeah.
But if you're going to...
Exactly.
It just shows you, to me, the example is just, I wrote a post on this, is like everybody overbuilds their hot room. Right? Mm-hmm. And this is the thing. You can spare an extra inch or 2 or maybe even 3 if you had to and make a 7'4" by 5'8", 9", whatever hot room, and you're doing great. You can get 3-4 people in there, and it gets great heat, very dense.
Yep.
And you got a kick-ass changing area for winters when you can hang out in a temperate zone like Hawaii.
I'm actually excited for the springtime when we start creating the outdoor space and how this changing room will relate to that outdoor space. And I know that I'm going to want a large changing room for whatever it is, relating to the new landscaping, the deck out there, whatever it is. I think you want the space in here while having the sauna as well.
Yeah. A rainy night.
Yeah.
A summer night with mosquitoes.
Yeah.
It's great. So sauna, there's a power of threes. We always love 3 sauna rounds, right?
Yep.
And how odd it is that there's 3 zones, right? The hot, and then this temperate cool down, and then outside.
Mm-hmm.
And how wonderful all 3 of those temperatures work through the sauna cycle, the cycle of cooling down.
Mm-hmm.
This whole chitter chatter here, we've been in this changing area, 40, 50 degrees, for a good 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah.
This is what you want to do. This is what's so hard to replicate in a hotel sauna or a health club sauna, because you're not present in any kind of moment. You're in a health club,
or even a basement sauna that just walks out to a laundry room or walks out into a family room.
Yes.
You don't have that third space.
It's a different vibe, the third space.
Yeah.
I gotta start taking notes. It would make the notes for this podcast.
Well, you can actually go back on this podcast and replay it.
No, but I don't want to do that. I will. I should re-listen to this.
My notebook is right there.
Really?
Everybody should have a
notebook
exactly on the bench.
Hold that and speak to that. And that is so true. Can you tell
that is?
about
You
that?
always
Go
have
ahead.
a notebook on your bench.
Yeah.
And all through your process. Yeah. I'm not saying you document it for your children, but you always are thinking when you're resting, and that's when you need a notebook.
Yeah, man.
Because you immediately get up and you start on your project, and then thoughts leave our heads.
Yes, and they go to the next thing. It happens so fast. How ironic is that? Where here we are, we're no cell phone. This is going to be a 2.5 hour, whatever. And we're just chilling out. And you'd think like nothing good would come of that, because we're not busy. Mm-hmm. But it's so ironic, isn't it? You are so right about the notebook. Is ideas and solutions, they come like waves. And if you don't get them down, you're on to the next.
And don't feel bad. A lot of people your age have issues with memory.
You know it. It gets worse and worse.
No, I don't.
Oh, you're getting there? You'll get there. Everyone should have a notebook where? On their sauna bench.
On their sauna bench.
Yeah. What was the thing I wanted to write down before that?
Well, see, there we go.
And now I got to listen to the podcast. But it's true. It's true. Everything about that is true. What were we talking about? The build. The common wall.
We're done with the common wall.
Yeah. We
and
know
the size of the rooms and that.
The 3 zones.
The 3 zones. Yes.
Yeah.
We got the 3 zones, and you've got the 3 saunas and
3 sauna rounds.
Yep. And you've got the 3 martinis.
Yeah. Well, that's you. You can do that. That's why it was so hard to get. By the way, that was why it was so hard to get Steve on Sauna Talk. He's protecting his identity. Yeah, man. So the build, and this is one of the main reasons why I'm really glad. I mean, I don't want to, overstate this, but this build was really significant for me at Sauna Times because I built a bunch of these 8x12 freestanding backyard saunas, but there's so much of this build that is, to me, the quintessential sauna. Steve touched on it before about, you work to the perfectionism of yourself, and he got it done. I mean, once that shed was built, 3 weeks later, he's taken a sauna. He did not scrimp on the stove. He did a great job on the sauna benches. I mean, he applied meticulous elements or resources or money on the things that counted.
Yeah. And you really can't say enough of the Kuma stove and the accessories that come with it. Get it right the first time. Do the window in the door. Yeah. Get the water.
The side pan. Can we speak to the side pan?
The side pan is really interesting. It's a 12-gallon side pan with spigot, which is really interesting because it got into the fall, into November. you turn on the sauna, you got it on low, you have 12 gallons of warm water. Whether you're just dumping your hand in there to wash off your hands or something, you always have 12 gallons of warm water outside.
Yep. And let me speak to that. I have the exact same on both my Kumas on Pine Island Lake Vermilion, which is completely drained right now, for the winter. But if we were to come up in winter, we would drill a hole in the ice, we'd fill up the 5-gallon bucket, and one of the first things we would do, well, the first is light the stove. The second would be fill up that side pan of 12 gallons of water. My Minneapolis sauna has the same pan, and sometimes that freezes. It's never cracked on me.
No.
Have you had
and
a freeze?
I'm amazed
You don't get a freeze.
I'm amazed that even in this cold weather, I'll come out and it's, of course we're taking saunas every night.
Yeah.
So it gets up to 180 and it probably doesn't drop down much past 20 degrees, 10 degrees in here.
You'd never get ice in your water tank. Yeah, see, I can get 2-3 inches. I can get because if I go away, travel for work or whatever, I come back, it's like a hockey puck in there.
No, it's not going to break. It's not going to crack.
It's amazing. I mean, I was freaked out. The first time it froze, I was like, oh shit. And then I added more water and there wasn't a leak to it. Now it's unfortunate. I mean, I'll admit it, I abuse the hell out of it. I don't even focus on whether I should be draining that or not. Because it gets a lot but I'll start the sauna stove and then I'll come, 45 minutes later, whatever, I'll come out and it starts melting in there. Remember?
Yeah.
Over at my sauna?
Yeah, you can push it down on the top,
Yeah, and by the time the sauna session is over, it's warm water, to your point. And that's starting with a frozen hockey puck.
Well, here's something I haven't done before with this sauna. When you clean your floors, is it through the spigot of that?
No.
No?
No. I got to tell you, I only do a thorough cleaning in my hot room twice a year. I do it when I know it's time to shut the garden hose off in the fall. And then in spring, when I can turn the garden hose on, is when I'll give it a good go out. Yeah.
And do you clean the wood?
The sauna benches?
Benches or walls?
Maybe
benches
4
and
times.
walls.
Maybe 4 times a year. I got this great cleaner. Scott, shout out to Scott Reeson and Tyler Healy with Sauna Tech. He gave me this jar from Finland, and you just put like a teaspoon in hot water, and I'm talking like 3-4 gallons. And I have a brush, and I just brush the benches.
Was that on Sauna Times, that product?
No, we got to get that there. Or just a link or whatever.
I would think that Glenn at Sauna Times would have that on there by now.
I'm getting a shopping cart going, Not to be the other capitalist, but there's some great products that I'm working on that I'm wanting to promote. And then, there's a guy out in Seattle who makes these really cool door handles. And I can sell his door handles for him on Sauna Times. My buddy Rod, he's got these little flights for the stuff you throw on the, eucalyptus.
Essence, yeah.
That's what I want to do with the shopping cart. My products, other people's cool products.
And when you talked about the door handle, and what hit me immediately is when you're building your sauna, you have to find things that have sentimental value for you. And in the door handle case, a great friend of mine, Kevin, just out of the blue, came up to me with 3 door handles.
Yeah, he just brought them to your office.
He made himself. And nice cedar.
Want to go in?
Yes. Nice cedar handles.
So you were at your desk, and then he just walks into your office and says, "Look what I made for you." Or?
No, actually, it was just at church, which is my work, and he brought in 3 of these handles, not understanding that you actually only need 1 handle because inside you're just pushing the door out.
Exactly.
But it was so.
And you do
touching.
a nice job with the spring here, by the way.
Yes.
Yeah.
Only took me 2 times.
No, that's a learning curve.
It is. And so he brings us these 3 handles, and he looks at me and he goes, well, if you only need 1 handle, just cut them in half And they make great wooden hooks for the inside of the sauna, so you don't have metal hooks on the inside where you
very nice.
burn your hand on.
Yeah.
And it's those contributions, those sentimental things that you have to incorporate into your sauna. I have 2 decorations in my changing room, both from family vacations, that meant a lot to my family. And that is how you get that special vibe, that special feeling of the sauna. And embrace those, look for those, and you know, it can come from your family history, it can come from friends, it can come from travel. Always keep an open eye to things that make your sauna more comfortable.
Rocks.
Rocks.
Yeah.
Rocks. I have rocks from Hawaii. I have rocks from our local Minnehaha Creek. I have rocks from Lake Superior in there. And it has room to grow.
Yeah, man. Nice. Nice.
And you know, I actually have a lava rock in there from New Mexico.
Do you think they're talking to each other?
I don't think rocks talk to each other, Glenn.
Well, you know, they do have a common element, is they were all like part of you guys in your travels.
And that's going to be your last martini.
That's right. So back to the build. On Sauna Times, I recently published, "What does a sauna cost?" I get asked this all the time, and it was really, this podcast is actually really important for me also, because this is the most up-to-date, reasonable answer of the answer to that question. What does a sauna cost? Tough Shed, $2,800.
Yes.
Kuma all in, like a kick-ass authentic wood-burning stove,
23 with the accessories.
Yeah, that's a lot of coin. I mean, that one, you know, that sends people to a substandard sauna stove, and I can't begrudge them for doing that. I mean, $800, and you can get a different sauna stove. I mean, but that's almost a third of the price.
It is.
Is it worth a Kuma? Is this Kuma thing worth it?
Absolutely.
Why?
Absolutely.
Why?
I'll take it back to when I was picking mine up. And Daryl Lampa was in the office, and he was on the phone with somebody, and he was irritated with this guy because he was talking about how big he should be cutting his wood in for the firebox. And he's like, well, it's 18 inches. You should refer to the manual, the handwritten manual for it, which is just fabulous.
I think it's 16, standard cut.
It's 16, 18, whatever it is. And he's like, well,
but it's
why
an
don't you
18-inch firebox because it allows for it to lay in there. Because not everybody's out there with a tape measure when they're harvesting wood. I mean,
and this guy just thought he would call Daryl up and have just these questions that Daryl kept on saying, well, you should refer to the manual.
Yeah.
Refer to the manual.
And this guy wouldn't give up.
And he kind of said, the gentleman on the other line, I could tell, was asking a question about another stove and if he should go that route, which I thought was kind of interesting why you would ask that to Daryl, who makes the best stove in the world. Daryl's response was, well, I don't know why you would buy any other stove. Our stove is the greatest stove in the world. And it kind of ended the conversation. Daryl hung up the phone and looked at me. And
he goes, what do you want? Looked at you and go, what do you want?
He looked at me and he goes, I'll have my guys loaded up in the truck. Yeah. And then away we went. And, and it is the truth. It is. He's a third generation sauna builder. They've been through everything. Yeah. They've been through all the mistakes that we all make when we're building projects and things like that. And it is the world's stove, the world's greatest stove, and the accessories with it are worth it.
Yeah, man.
I know the feeling.
Heat shields, water tank,
not wanting
ash pan,
not wanting to spend money.
I get
understand.
it. I know.
I get it. You're in the midst of spending a lot of money
just to get that far.
But when I can take it back to this point, when I was building this, before I was building this, I gave Amy a budget of $5,000 or $6,000 that I needed to get this job completed, and with the addition of tough sheds and all that, the price went up to about $7,800.
So
somewhere in there with all the accessories.
Sure.
And
almost to the $100, you would say 7,800.
yeah.
And if you were to unpack that, and gosh, it's hard to do math on the sauna bench, but we're talking about 2,800 for Tough Shed, 20 what for
22.
Okay, so you're at 3, 4. You're at 5 right there.
Yeah.
Okay, and you've outsourced those two things. So now you're at 5. So the extra 2,000. What was the total? 78.
Yeah.
The extra 2,800 tongue and groove seat. Let's break that down.
It's just tongue and groove cedar and the 1x6 cheap, good looking cedar fencing that you get at Home Depot.
Yeah.
That is for the changing room.
We're gonna come over.
So easy to work with.
Okay. Well, let's talk about that. And I do want to drill into this extra 2,800 we said, right, for everything else. Okay. So, yeah, I want to take a photo and get this out with this podcast. But here's a hack. Okay, the cedar fencing, the 6-inch wide, dog-eared, 6 feet tall fencing. They're like what, $1 something a piece?
90 something a piece.
Yeah, and they get all that coverage. Granted, it's only ½ inch. I do not recommend it for the hot room.
No.
And Steve did not do it for the hot room. He used proper tongue and groove cedar, and it looks friggin' awesome. There is a post on Sauna Times, money saving tips for your hot room. You can see how Steve optimized and minimized the need for excessive amounts of tongue and groove cedar, but it is still an authentic cedar, Western red cedar lined sauna, which to me is the best species. I get white spruce, yeah, totally, either one. But anyway, yeah, it's a great show here. I really am grateful that I'm able to sit on the sauna bench with Steve. There's so many things that we're unpacking here about sauna building that I find really important, and this is why I wanted to publish this episode of Sauna Talk for the complete DIY builder. Where to save money and where to invest in the right things.
Well, I'm happy that we got on it quickly.
Yeah. You mean this interview?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know. No, well, I can tell you this. This is like the post I wanted to put out here is lose a friend and gain another authentic sauna, because Steve is since Thanksgiving, Steve has not been to my backyard sauna, and previous to Thanksgiving, Steve was over at my backyard sauna maybe once every couple of weeks at least.
That you knew of.
That I know of. And so I lost a friend in this deal. But let's talk about Amy and sauna, and that's the reason why I lost a friend, is because this poor guy sitting next to me, Steve, he's got no more capacity for sauna in his being. To try to get him over to my sauna would be crazy. And let's talk about that. You say on average, 6 out of 7 nights of the week you've been out here.
Honestly, it would be 13 out of 14.
Yeah.
Days. If you're really stretched out, rarely do we miss a night of coming out here or an afternoon. And our routine is just so wonderful of lighting the stove and going for an hour walk and coming back and feeling 180 degrees.
Yeah.
After
On a
winter's night. It's just spectacular. And I really think it took Amy by surprise, because I would talk about it, but until you experience it, and maybe that's a big thought for spouses that are building saunas. Get your spouse into a sauna and let them feel the experience, and it just clicked for Amy.
Well, okay, I need to unpack that in that this was not any old sauna that you exposed Amy to. I mean, it was the real deal. And that's a huge differentiator. For many people, sauna is what they jump into in the health club, after a workout for 15 minutes, take a shower and be done, or a hotel sauna or whatever. But Amy got that was her first sauna experience?
Not first. She did the health club things, and but it is a totally different thing. She does still have the.
And what can you tell us that story, that experience for Amy up north?
That's when we went and picked up the stove, and Glenn and Julia were out of town, and they graciously offered us to stay at their cabin for what Glenn said a couple days, and we stretched it out to 4 days.
Yeah. No. This real story. No, the story as I know it is you brought her up there in the summer, and once she got the vibe of the sauna, she was like, "Do this."
Oh, absolutely.
And then you stayed there a second time. Then when you got the stove, or maybe
no, it was all one shot. It was all one shot.
But what's significant is when she experienced the real deal, she was all foot on the gas pedal. That's when she figured out Tough Shed for you, for your benefit.
Yeah.
Okay, so it happened fairly quickly. She was up at the cabin in August.
Yep.
Okay, and then by Thanksgiving, you guys, and by early October, you pulled the trigger with Tough Shed, and by Thanksgiving, you were taking a sauna.
Yeah.
And you've been out there 13 out of 14 nights since.
On average, yeah.
How has it changed aim? Look, I want to ask two things. You can pick which one first. I want to talk about your skin, because I know about eczema with you, and you're a doctor and all that. And the second thing is, I want to unpack the whole Amy thing and sauna and what sauna has meant to her and how it's changed the way she lives and stuff.
Skin-wise, I've had bouts of eczema throughout my life, and it comes and goes and things like that. And eczema is basically the lack of ability to sweat, so the sweat stays inside your skin and makes you very uncomfortable.
Itchy.
Your
pores can't breathe.
And with the sauna, it is such a quick, hot heat that you are just sweating. And
it kickstarts what your disease lacks for you.
And my skin has never felt better, never looked better. I have people come up to me on the street and just say, "Man, you look good.
You've got a great skin."
Great skin.
No, have people that know you well noticed?
Oh yeah, yes, they actually have.
Yeah, and I noticed.
Yeah, and for Amy,
what did your doctor say about the eczema?
It's funny. I was just there 3 weeks ago getting a refill of a prescription, and we were talking about this, and she said it just looks fabulous. She goes, "I've never seen you look so good." Sometimes the winter is it is the driest.
Is it the hardest season for you?
Well, summer and humidity is hard too.
Oh, yeah.
But that's another thing, that in a Kuma stove sauna, you have such control over the humidity and how much water you're putting on the rocks and things like that it really helps. I can keep it as dry as I want. Right. I can keep it as wet as I want.
Do you moderate it? How do you moderate it as a guy sensitive to humidity? Not sensitive in a bad way, but you want to optimize that,
you know what?
That temperature.
I don't have to.
I
don't have to. That's how good my skin is.
Yeah.
I don't have to.
You don't seek out a perfect humidity level in the hot room?
Well, I don't go extra humidity, but I don't shy away from it either.
Okay. Well, on that note, that's another thing about a 6x8 hot room. You get a really nice bite back of lolu, that steam created from water being tossed on sauna rocks. I had a buddy over to my sauna, which is actually 6'4" by 6'4". It's smaller in cube than this 7'4" by 6 feet or whatever that we're in right now. And he threw like half a jug of this water on the rocks. I'm like, whoa, and I wrote it out and stuff. He's used to throwing a shit ton of water on the rocks downtown at the Hewing, where you could throw 32 ounces of water on the rocks, and then the lowly's not going to knock you down.
Yeah.
So anyway, it's good to get knocked down.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
Let's talk about Amy, or you want to walk?
Let's do a walk and then we'll talk about Amy.
All right.
Aaron showed he bought an infrared for his basement. That's why I was giving you the infrared shit.
Oh, that's funny. That's a gateway drug to the real deal.
She just walked in, so I'll try to pull her out here.
Oh, we'll try to get Amy live and direct, but maybe from your words. So it was August. You're up to Pine Island, Lake Vermilion. You're taking a authentic sauna and just digging yourselves up on an island with the wood burning and jumping in the lake and all of that noise. And that was a game changer for Amy. She's like, let's do this, right, Steve?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, we had the stove in back of the car, so it was we're going to do this. It was do it now.
Oh, that's what it was. Okay. Yeah, I knew there was something about that.
Yeah, the stove was in the car, and
and at that point you were thinking of doing a shed build like yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and she said, "Let's go."
Yeah, that stove sat in the garage for about a month, and she said, "Let's get moving on this thing." And that's when the call to Tough Sheds went. And another thing I want to say is, if you go to toughshed.com and look at the portraits they have on the website of everything that is done with sheds, it gives you a wonderful idea of not even or of what's going on in sheds, offices, she sheds,
violin recording,
studio. It's absolutely incredible. Then also look at what happens outside the shed, the landscaping and the decking and the patios that are just beautiful. It makes your backyard, as Amy says, a retreat.
Yes. Yeah, up north backyard retreat. That was the formidable like push for me, like, because being on an island on Lake Vermilion, the shoulder season, I miss sauna too much. So my whole gig was, let's replicate the up north vibe within a small footprint in a corner of my backyard.
Yeah. It's so easy. It doesn't take much space.
Yeah.
And it adds so much, not only just physically and landscaping wise, but to your psyche.
Yeah. It expands your living area in a crazy kind of way. This isn't like, hey, I want to build a man cave in the basement. This is like psychologically the idea of a winter's night of opening that back door and walking like 15 steps, and you could be anywhere. It transports you, and you didn't have to get in your car, you didn't have to make reservations. No. It's right there for you.
And for me, my kids love it, and it's a thing for them to gather with their friends, and they don't understand being 21 and understanding all the intricacies of the psyche,
the full cool downs,
all that. But my beer seems to evaporate, and they come out here and they're at a place that they are just comfortable in. And it's 2 hours of pure retreat for them.
Yeah.
My son tells me often on the phone, I cannot wait to get home from college and take a sauna.
Oh, that's so great.
And it's like that when you get off the plane.
Oh.
And even for me, sitting in Maui on a beach, I looked at Amy and I said, I miss my sauna.
Oh. So when you were flying back from Hawaii to Minnesota, that had to be top on the list for both of you, right?
Oh, it was the first thing we did. We dropped the luggage in the kitchen, and I came out here and started the stove. And an hour later, we were sitting in the sauna, and just all that travel just is gone.
It is so well described. There's a post on Sauna Times. Sauna is the best way to get rid of airplane juice.
Oh,
when you're flying, you're stiff, you're constricted. You don't have the steam that we're experiencing right now. It's gross air. You smell awful, and you just leave all of that behind after 2-3 sauna rounds.
Oh, the person next to you smells awful.
Yeah, and you smell awful. Yeah, man. Yeah, it's a great story. So back to Amy. All right, so she experiences sauna on Lake Vermilion. She goes, I want this. We got to get moving, blah, blah, blah. Then you were a little held up because of you wanted to do the shed build yourself.
Yeah.
She pushed you toward Tough Shed. You rocked and rolled. That thing was delivered on Halloween Day. Thanksgiving was your first sauna and her first sauna in your backyard, correct?
Yeah.
Tell us more from Amy's perspective. How did she like it right away? Did it take her a little time?
She loved it. She loved it right away. She knew it from Vermilion, and she, even with the chairs, the wooden chairs in there, that phase was just fabulous. And then when I got the benches in there, that's when it just was crazy.
Tell us about Amy's routine. So you've been sauning enough. You've settled into a sort of routine or a system. She's at work.
Yeah.
She comes home at about what time?
She comes home at 5:30, and at about 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon, we text each other. What's the plan? There's 3 things we have to do. Mm-hmm. We have to eat dinner, take an hour walk, and take a sauna. And it's usually in that order.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes over the weekend when we have the whole day, we're taking afternoon saunas and things like that. But to eat a good meal and then to take a walk and then to come back right into the backyard, put the dog in the house, and come out to the sauna, 180 degrees, and then the night is just complete.
So, just to frame that up, about what time would you head in for round one? Just, typically or roughly?
7:45, 8 o'clock.
Okay. And then do each of you do 3 rounds generally? Or
yeah.
Okay.
3 rounds, and then actually, it's kind of a 4th round. It's very much a 4th round. Of the doors opening, the fire's winding down. We're in the winter months here. You crack the door, throw
the door to the hot room.
The door to the hot room and the door outside.
Right.
And it just produces that steam that we talked about.
Yeah.
And then you throw a little water on the rocks.
Yes.
And you have a 4th round of just 110, 100 in steam.
Yeah. And you get that
and
with
then you're cooling down.
Right. It's a longer cool down.
Yeah.
Now, and there's no clothes out here. You guys just basically trudge right into the house fairly nuded up and then dress inside, right?
Yeah.
Is any of that quote unquote 4th round dressing, or is it basically just drying off?
Just drying off and then heading in.
Yeah.
Putting the robes in, putting the robes on and the Crocs on and head into the house. The police seem to think that was a better idea as my previous way of no robe.
You've walked in the house naked. Well, you live in a little bit more of a fishbowl than I do. I mean, in terms of sight lines from neighbors and stuff.
Well, that's where landscaping will come in. I do have to make landscaping. I have 2 picture windows looking in my backyard. Imagine how they
from
feel.
neighbors.
Yeah. So, whether it's going to be a trellis, some kind of pine or something like that. Being a good neighbor, I have to hide myself back here.
So the trellis makes great sense, and Steve and I have talked about this. So if you exit the hot room into the changing area, and then, now you have the garden hose shower get up going at 6-8 months of the year. In Minnesota, at least, you can have that. The concept here is to integrate the outdoor shower within a overhead surround trellis gig.
Yeah.
So, in a very generous size one, so you can hang your towel, and you just out there in nature in your own backyard, but in a very private scene.
Really excited to build that, and it's really simple.
It's simple and
You're
it's
talking
cheap.
about 2 4x4 posts, maybe 3 or 4, and
some more of this fence paneling, probably.
And a hose and a shower head.
And the garden hose thing, there on Sauna Times, there is a post there about $15 outdoor shower. All the components are available at Home Depot, and you just hook it right up with a dedicated garden hose. You're set.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of fine in the community that you live in, but where I'm presently located, we're going to go high end.
Oh, we're going to order one of those fancy things, those little Bed Bath & Beyond, little wimpy ass. Here, honey, let me turn the hot on for you.
If need be.
No, you don't need hot water. That's the other joke, right?
You do
Colder the better.
Yeah.
Am I right?
Yeah, exactly.
And for Amy and Julie is the same way. Is they are not completely immersed in the ice cold plunge gig.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks to the side pan, you can moderate the temperature in which you mix to go outside and dunk over your head. And there's no harm in lukewarm water dumping over your head, right?
Mm-hmm. And that kind of reminded me of you have all these great ideas when you're in the building process. And you start some of those, and you get halfway through them, and you're like, I don't need that.
Give me an example.
And that's a common mistake, and that's fine.
Where
and
you think
just
you needed
move on
some?
You move on to your next thing. In the changing room here, I've got it wired so I could put in floor heat.
Yeah.
I don't need in-floor heat.
Well, you've been through a hell of a winter. I was going to make a joke about the in-floor.
You don't need it. It's warm in here. You wear Crocs. What do you need in-floor heat for? It's a waste of energy.
Okay, I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So back to Amy. So this has been a game changer for her. How has these last 3 months or whatever, how has she changed? You know, what do you guys do that's different, like socially, or how is her gig different?
Our social life is over.
Yeah. Well, I lost a friend, but we gained a sauna.
Yeah.
But you guys have bonded in a deeper way.
Oh, absolutely. The discussions that happen in a sauna for everybody, whether you're married or not married, it just brings it out of you. And it's the length of time, it's the endurance of heat, it's
the unpacking
of the day.
Yeah,
exactly. And so it's just enjoyable, the whole thing. I mean, imagine wanting to do something every day of your life and enjoying it.
Yeah. So she's at work, and is it like, if you said I didn't light the stove tonight, how would she react?
She would strike me.
And then what? Go out and fire it up herself? I'm just trying to...
No, she would...
yeah.
I remember the last time that we didn't take a sauna. It was really kind of funny. It was a cold walk, and there wasn't a whole lot of discussion. And the heads were down. It was windy, and we got into the driveway with full intentions of taking a sauna. And I just said, it just wasn't to be that night.
Yeah, I've been there. It was too extreme. Like the temperature, you just wanted to like end it. You guys were probably tired.
Yeah, it was. She walks me like a dog. and I remember saying to her as she was taking the leash off me, was, honey, I'm not up for it tonight.
You beat me enough. Was she pissed, or did she acquiesce? Was cool?
She was just like, okay, and it made the next night even better.
Yeah, but that was a rare off night for you guys. You can count on one hand the amount of off nights you've had since Thanksgiving, 3.5 months.
Yeah, and it's even just what does it take away from us? At night, TV watching.
Yeah.
Social life.
Well, but, would you be socializing anyway midweek?
Monday through Friday, most likely not.
Yeah, but on a Friday night, I remember. Tell the story of you guys were out at a bar with some couples one night and turned to each other. Remember, was it that place where you throw the axes or something?
Oh yes.
Well, you better not put that on tape.
But it's actually really funny because of a conversation I had just 2 days ago with that couple. We went out axe throwing and drinking. What could go wrong, really? And 3 other couples. And we just had a blast doing it. And it was just around the time that we started taking saunas and we were talking about it. And it was just like, by the time we got about 4 hours into this night, Amy and I could just feel this vibe going between us of, let's get the hell out of here. Yeah. We got to get back to the sauna.
Yeah, and you're thinking on the drive home, I'm going to light that thing right away.
Yeah.
And then recalibrate.
Yeah. And it's really funny because that's what goes through your mind once you start getting into this routine. And just a couple of days ago, I was talking to John, one of the couples that was there, and his wife has listened to us talk about this, and he said she's actually taken me out into the backyard and said, this is where I want the sauna.
Yeah.
And John said, there's a tree there, and she kind of said, make it go away.
Yeah.
Get me a sauna.
Wow.
So there.
Has she been to this sauna?
She has not. I was going to have them over this week.
Oh, good.
And have them come in and experience it.
I love that. And there's a post on Sauna Times. Where do you start? Well, it's easy. You start with 4 sticks and 50 feet of carpenter string, and you lay that out 8 by 12. It's a great dimension. If you want a different size, go for it. But as a starting point, you did this, Steve. You took 4 sticks and laid it out, or some scrap 2x4s. I remember at some point.
And then I took those stakes up and repositioned it 3 or 4 different times.
Yeah. There you go. There you go. And so that's what I recommend for this couple is just to feel your backyard. Just imagine it like, there's all different angles and views, exposure, direction, wind, sight lines to neighbors, all of that stuff. Whether it's a backyard sauna or a cabin sauna, God forbid those people that just pull the trigger so quick and say, oh my gosh, it should have been 30 feet over to the right. Or, oh, I wish I had, put windows here and all that. And just live with that. Live with the 4, sticks and 50 foot of carpenter string and just imagine, like feel it. Like get into the vibe.
It's exciting, it's motivating.
Yeah, it's motivating. And it's the first place to start. Now, others talk about, like there's people say, oh, go buy, a thermometer and a bucket and all that, and it'll kick your ass and get you going. There's other people who say, go get the sauna stove, But there is no absolute there. But I'm telling you, 50 feet of carpenter string, 4 sticks, mark out the area, get a feel, and then, start backfilling from there.
Yeah. And everybody has their own motivation.
Yeah.
And no one way is the wrong way. They're all the right way. Mm-hmm. Just get there and keep doing something moving forward to get the sauna up and going. Yeah. I remember I would have an hour and a half before I had to go out and do something. Well, it doesn't all just go in the progression that Glenn at Sauna Times in his e-sauna book wants it to go. and he will shun you if you don't do that. But you go out there and do something in that hour and a half period. And it keeps you moving forward. It keeps your energy going forward.
Mm-hmm. And momentum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Momentum.
You let that sit for a little too long and then life takes over, But that's part of the discipline of that, like anything in life. I mean, you commit to it. Like if you want to bike 100 miles a week, I mean, you got to do it. You got to commit to X amount per day or whatever, and set these goals. And it's so rewarding. It isn't like, I mean, you know how it is, Steve, when you're in the sauna build process, there's many things that's remarkably great about it, but what I like, one of the main things I love is you can leave your tools kind of set up. It's nice to clean up after a work session, but you're not in the way of anything. It's not like you're remodeling a kitchen with you're getting whipped in the back. With your sauna build, the pace can happen on your own. And I can't tell you how many times, to Steve's point, where you say, look, I got an hour and a half. I can go and rip these boards, or I can go and, panel the hot room, or, foil the chain, whatever. And then you're like 5 minutes in, and you just don't want it to end. That hour and a half comes and you're like, shit, I'm really into this.
Yeah.
And when you take it in bursts like that, the building process, it just, so much reward comes from that.
Yeah.
It's like exercise. You're not beating yourself up.
It is. And I went through December, and I remember I said by New Year's Eve I'm packing up all my tools and bringing it inside and stopping. And I have trim work to do, and I have other things to do in here, and that is just fine.
Yes.
And it can wait.
Yeah.
The stove is up and working, and the sauna room is hot. The benches are in place.
Yeah. Everything's in play.
Everything is in play. You can relax.
So this will be a new challenge for you, and I experienced this too. Like you've already put the cherry on top. I mean, we're taking great saunas and all that. How do you get back in there and push it to the next level when it will not affect the performance of the sauna one bit? The aesthetic, finishing the paneling in here, I get it. But it won't affect the function of your sauna.
No, it won't, but it will affect the psyche of what's going on, because now I'm into, I'm going to finish it.
Yeah.
It's done in here. Let's go outside and see the landscaping.
Yeah.
Let's see what you're going to do.
Closure.
In your case, it was the patio, the building of the bench, the building of the subpar shower, things like that kept you motivated, and creating an environment outside of the sauna.
So I'm going to make you a bet. You're going to have a shower run in here before you're going to panel this changing room. Don't sell yourself short on that one. That sounds great in a podcast, but no. You're going to keep moving, and but that's okay too, because you're doing you're improving the sauna experience and sort of backfeeling the aesthetic from it.
Yeah. But I still have a big part of my guts not done. I mean, I had to stop my electrical.
Yeah.
And that'll get done in the spring. But
yeah.
LED puck lights are all you need.
Yeah. Yeah, you can makeshift.
And Wi-Fi radio and music.
So we have this ongoing row with Rod at Sauna Society Outfitters. I'm collaborating with him and Eric Bongard, and we're building, and JP as well, and we're building these awesome. Have you seen the 7x12 mobile saunas on a fish house chassis?
Yes.
Yeah, man. Have we sauned?
The blue one.
Of course, we didn't sauna it in there because
no, because that would mean I'd have to socialize with you and leave my sauna.
But yeah, but we had this big spat, which was a wonderful spat about music, and I wired all that, behind the tongue groove and stuff. They have a volume control in the hot room, speakers in the hot room, really nice speakers overhead here in the changing area, and a receiver and all that. And it just kind of fell into the non-necessity thing. So I wired it this weekend, and it looks friggin' awful. I mean, there's all these wires coming out of the wall. So we have to build a shelf with a tuck under to hide all these wires and stuff.
And for me, I did no wiring because I was forewarned that for Christmas I was going to get a Bluetooth speaker.
Yeah.
And it's a nice Bluetooth speaker. It's a surround sound Bluetooth speaker that Glenn will take a picture at and put on Sauna Times. And
maybe it won't.
It is just...
No, but sorry. But it gives great sound.
Oh, yeah. Even in the hot room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Half of me loves that, and half of me hates that. I'm so old school. I love the hard wiring and the old speaker systems and the volume controls and all that. So there is an advantage of sitting and, say you got a good tune going on, and unfortunately, and then you have a good conversation going in the hot room, and it's just sort of conflicting. You can just tell the person sitting over to the left, say, hey, right by your left ankle, there's a volume control. Knock that down a couple notches. So it's a nuance that to me is significant, but I get it. You got this freestanding thing out here, and it's great sound.
Yeah, it is. It is.
So we got Amy covered, right? I really wanted to frame up.
She's going to make a surprise visit out here.
Oh, great. I wanted to frame. Well, we'll hear it from her voice. Yeah. So let's close with a couple questions. We'll head back in the hot room in just a minute. But I ask every Sauna Talk guest, if you could have a kick-ass mobile sauna and bring it anywhere in the world and take a sauna, where would you like to go? Anywhere. What's the first place that comes to mind?
Grand Canyon.
Up or down?
I haven't been down. Both would be fabulous. I think down would be tricky to get it down there.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That water's so cold. The first thing that came to mind was down. But I think maybe what came to mind for you is the vista.
Yeah.
The vistas.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah. Good.
Hello.
We have a mystery guest. Are you going to sauna?
No.
No? Well, you are going to sauna tonight, aren't you?
Yeah. How are you?
Great.
Good.
Welcome to Sauna Talk.
Thank you.
Did I put you on the spot?
Yeah.
Well, you want me to shut it off? Here, I'll shut it
No,
off.
you're good.
Yeah.
You're fine.
Yeah, we were talking about if you could have a mobile sauna and bring it anywhere in the world, where would you like to go?
The world?
Anywhere that you've been or that you'd like to go, and you could bring
Well, I don't know. I can't say for the places that I haven't been, because it's not a good comparison. I can't say for sure. But of the places I've been, and I have not traveled very much worldwide. Canada.
Yeah?
No, I think I would say Maui.
Mm. Mm-hmm. By the ocean, or?
Oh yeah, for sure by the ocean.
Yeah. What? Amy. So you've missed only 3 or 4 nights since Thanksgiving, and taking sauna.
With the exception of our trip to Maui.
Okay.
Yeah,
so now that you're really in, I don't even want to use the word routine, but your sauna is part of your psyche now, part of your thing of what you do.
routine for
Yeah.
sure.
So you wake up in the morning and you know you're going to sauna later, and you go to work and you do that, and then you come home. And Steve was outlining that you guys like to have some dinner and then go for a walk.
Yep.
Come in for round 1, 2, 3. Round 4, open the door, chill out.
Yep.
This whole thing, and then you go back in the house. As you think about the full, like, colorful spectrum of that experience, if you had to pull one moment out, like, you know, through that whole experience, what is, like, your favorite moment, if you had to pick one?
Like, as you're thinking about preparing to get into the sauna?
As you review a whole day with sauna involved, like in all of the nuances of the rounds and the cool downs, the water over your head, is there something that comes to mind? It's like, oh my gosh, this is my favorite part.
So 2 things I would say. I love knowing that when we're on the walk, because it's winter time and it's super cold, knowing that I'm gonna come back to a hot sauna.
Yeah. So that anticipation
yes.
is one. Very good
For
answer.
sure.
Okay.
And then the rest is just the experience itself.
Yeah.
It just is so cleansing and peaceful, and you can just kind of chill on your day and have good conversation, and so that's what and it's super quiet. I really like that about it too.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love just listening to the stove tick and heat up.
Yeah.
That's what I like. And seeing the flame through the
Same
door.
question for you, Steve. What is that pinnacle moment for you in a sauna session? Or even the anticipation or the finale?
I have to give you 2, like Amy. The first round, right when you get in, and for the first 45 seconds where you're just like,
yeah, I've arrived.
The day is gone. I'm here. I'm present. I can speak with the person that I'm with, and just relax. Is such a great feeling. And then, you know, right away I was thinking about round 4, the steam round, which was just fabulous as well. But I think when you get inside, and whether it is just relaxing inside and your body's still warm, but yet you're cooling down inside, getting ready for the night. But then also the next morning, the shower, hopping out of the shower. You just know that you had a sauna the night before, and your body is loose. You're ready to go.
Has your sleep changed, Amy, since you had sauna?
Phenomenal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sleep like never better since we've had it. Sleep through the night, well rested. Yeah. It's amazing.
So if you could have a sauna session with anybody in the world, like dead or alive, past, present, who's the first person that would come to mind that you'd like to have a sauna with, like that 2.5 hour hangout time?
Steve.
Isn't it? And you get to live this dream every night.
Exactly.
Or 47 out of the last 51 nights anyway.
I mean, how blessed am I?
Yeah, that's great.
That's wonderful.
So how about you, Amy?
Boy, I don't know. I like it that it's more intimate and not sharing with maybe the whole rest of the world yet. I'm just, getting, it's all new to me, so it's just getting used to it and getting a comfort level where I wouldn't feel awkward.
You like the privacy element of it.
Yeah,
You wouldn't want a sauna with anybody in the world, dead or alive, past or present, except Steve, because that's the right answer.
Yeah.
It's a very private thing for you guys.
Or family,
Yeah.
the kids or whatever too. So.
Steve, who comes to mind for you besides Amy? Yes, you can't pick that one.
Just by myself, I think, I'm with the person I want to be.
Oh. Wow.
At least somebody loves you.
What a self-actualized husband.
Yeah, right.
Now, you guys are like thick into this authentic sauna gig. What would you say to others is, or what would you say is most misunderstood about sauna? Like when you're talking about, you're talking to friends at work or friends that you know or whatever. Like, what is the biggest misconception in either of your eyes that you've experienced out there about sauna?
that it takes a long time to get it up and going. I think everyone talks about the ease of just flipping the switch and that it's ready,
the electric sauna.
Is ready fast. But then, you hear people talk about that and going to the athletic clubs, and those only get to like 140 degrees. So you, I think, miss the entire experience of it getting hot and sweating through all of that.
And how about the fresh air and the cool down?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there's a misconception, isn't there?
For sure.
Yeah.
I think there's a ignorance out there. They don't know the pleasure of the pre-round tinkering of going out to the wood pile, collecting the wood, bringing it in, light it up, clean the ash pan with two-prong tool that most people enjoy. Some people just chop off this one end and don't understand the beauty of it.
Right?
Yeah. It's really the process of it all, and they just don't know. And that's the funny part when you bring new people into it. It's funny to see their reaction of just, wow, this is great.
Yeah. Yeah, you've had saunas, Amy, in health clubs and stuff, right? Yeah. How would you describe, like, is this much different? And if it is, like,
again, it's
the
a
heat,
huge difference. It's the heat. It's the you don't have the quiet of the ticking of the stove as it heats up, and again the privacy.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem as clean. I would say, and I don't know.
It's sure nice. It's sure nice just to like trudge the 14, 15 steps into the house when you're done with sauna, isn't it? Yeah.
It really is.
For sure.
Any other words for people, like whether you're there? Maybe some of the listeners out here are thinking about building their own sauna. I'm sure a lot of the listeners have their own sauna and can totally identify with the things you're saying. Any final words about sauna that you want to share?
I love having the window so you can see out of the hot room, and a window in the door to see into the changing room. I really like that. I like having a spacious changing room to cool down, just hang out before and after or between sessions.
Right on. Very nice. Very well framed
I
up.
would also say the music that you bring in is super important. That's
What's an example of style music or artist that you like in sauna?
Oh, I like the whole gamut. I like, depending on your mood and the time of day and probably the season of the year. I think it all...
Different. So in other words, he's a good DJ? You're not that specific?
Yeah. No.
We actually
we switch
go
it
on
up.
to our kids' Pandora's account.
Yeah.
Pull up Spotify.
Same thing.
Yeah. How about final last words on you, Steve? Now you've had sauna and now you're creating the sauna. Amy, I was joking with Steve that the title of this podcast is going to be "Lose a Good Friend and Get a Good Sauna," because he's not been. I've saunaed over here. Is the only time I've saunaed since the sauna's been built. Now twice. That's right, but it's an opportunity cost because this is we're going for round 3, and you want to get a sauna in. Yeah. So I'll be done after this round. And so, are you going to have dinner? And what's your plan?
We'll have dinner and little cold for a walk tonight, I think. But I think after dinner we'll jump in.
And Steve's look on his face. Is tonight a 6-round sauna night for you?
It is.
And
it's
how do you feel
no
about
walk
that?
night. A no walk. I feel great about that.
Will she do will you maybe tonight only do 2 rounds and Amy 3 or?
We'll do 3, 4 with the steam
round?
Yeah.
The cool down.
Do you still live over on DuPont?
Yeah, I'm still over there. I do a lot more solo saunas now, I tell you that much. Yeah, I'm finding new friends, meeting new friends, influencing new characters. Yeah, and I sauned with Kurt the other day. It's like, it's funny the evolution of sauna, like the crew. And, this is now...
The in and out.
Yeah, well, you're now the third, actually probably 4th, 5th person that has built their own sauna that used to come to my sauna.
And I love that. To me, like authentic sauna is like a candle. Like I have mine. People experience it, and they get their own candle, and that flame just keeps transferring. And the more authentic saunas that we have in our world, I think the more chill, the more healthy and fulfilled. Just happy we're gonna all be. That's my thing.
Did Steve tell you about his skin, the transformation of his skin?
Yeah, and his doctors. How long have you been going to that eczema doctor?
This gal just 2 or 3 years, but she knows my history and
he looks great.
Yeah.
Always have.
I can't believe you sent him over to my house all these years. Are you shocked that sauna has meant this much to you, Amy?
Yes.
Yeah. What's so shocking there? Like just the transformation?
Oh, just the solitude of it, and just how good it makes you feel, and I mean mentally and physically, and the quiet time that Steve and I have together, and the good conversations, and I think it's just been fabulous.
There you have it.
It's a retreat in the backyard.